Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News here from the mobile studio in Southern California on location. And we have Katie Thurston, Bachelorette, sells out stand-up show. That's right. Unreal. Couldn't stop laughing, says the audience. Katie Thurston and friends completely sold out, and not your standard VFW 35-40 seater. It was a 230-seat room. It's a very large room for a comedy club. A lot of big comedy clubs can get up to the 400 seaters, but for like independent comedy clubs, 230 seaters is a real deal. It's a big room to fill, and she did just that. So I'm going to talk about this, her show, candidly, as I was also on the lineup. So we're going to share which Bachelor alumni were there, who came, and of course, as always, I want to offer my heartfelt thank you to all of my audience members, my power listeners out there that came to the show. You never know who you're going to get at these types of events. Katie and I have a pretty decent crossover audience, but of course, those that came out, specifically, I want to shout out Kat, Michelle, and of course, friends that came from Tucson and Florida and Oregon. I think there were some Canadians there. Thank you all so much. We'll get into that story in a second, but first I wanted to share a few other kind of side stories going on. Kelly Flanagan was at the Super Bowl, and there was a lot of questions about her relationship with Pilot Pete, because that's what our audience does. We question things when we haven't heard from anybody in a while. And of course, everyone was like, where's Kelly been? We haven't seen her posting with Pete. They were both at the Super Bowl. They're both happy. They're Valentine's Day. I'm going to share the Valentine's card she got Pete. It's a funny moment. You're going to like it. But anyway, she said she recapped her Super Bowl, and this is the most pretentious, and I'm just saying this out of jealousy, pretentious status update possible. She said, Arizona was one of the most fun Super Bowls I've been to yet. See you next year, Vegas. Oh my gosh, can you imagine what I'd give to, how many of us out there, what we would give to go see a Super Bowl? And she's like, this was one of the most fun. I don't know. It was all right. But anyway, I know she means well, but very funny. So here she is at the Super Bowl weekend with appears to be Anna Redmond and Chris Bukowski. She said obsessed with these two. So they had a fun little party going on. Of course, Anna was on Bachelor in Paradise, and Chris Bukowski, a longtime Bachelor legend there. So doing their thing here with her Bachelor friends, and some promo events will go in a second. Here she is with Pilot Pete from Valentine's Day. FanDuel, got to post the whole kind of experience here. And then here, because we're at the Valentine's Day. So here's the Valentine's Day event. And she went to the Playboy party. I don't know if it was at the Playboy Mansion or what it was at. No, not the Playboy Mansion, but Playboy. Stopped by the Playboy party, closing out New York Fashion Week. So there she is, bunny ears and all. And of course, the thing I wanted to get to, I think it's the next slide here, the next one after this. So here's Pilot Pete opening up his Valentine's Day card from her. Have a watch. Look at his reaction.
People. Aww.
Oh my God! Let's watch that again. So this was a spring-loaded Valentine's Day card. These are so great. You'll see it. They're boxes that pop open with confetti. I mean, honestly, this company's going to get sued. They're going to give somebody a heart attack. Have a watch. It's just spring-loaded confetti. Look at this.
Oh my God! Wait, what?
My guess is that's like a $50 thing.
Wait,
and then, so if you look closely, there's photos on these cubes that pop open of Kelly and Pete. Very cute, very fun, very relatable. And there that is. So how cool. And also in a non-Bachelor story, did you guys watch The Ultimatum? April is pregnant, expecting her first child with boyfriend Cody. Made a bestie with my bestie. I don't know if you guys remember this show, but she was very much bragging about how she enjoyed, the practice of making babies, I should say. Not sex, but what goes into it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it was a pretty interesting show where you go in front of Nick Lachey, of course. You have to go to Nick Lachey on Netflix. He's the warlord of Netflix. And they kind of did this thing where they were like, all right, either propose to me or let's move on. And relationships had the ultimatum, and of course, which was mainly women trying to get their guy to get up off of his butt and put a ring on it. Either way, let's go into this. We have Katie Thurston in the featured featured content of this video, and I hope you guys enjoy the mobile content. Hit the like button if you do. Subscribe. I obviously am not always on the road, but when I am, I try to give you good audio and a good experience. I know it's not always great. I don't have all my monitors and preparation set up, but I appreciate you guys sticking around. So here it is. This is the show. This is the comedy club. Very big venue. Sold out. Katie Thurston and friends, and of course there was VIP tickets for sale, which got the ravishing vanishing rose pleaser, 10 air pulsating speeds and functions from mild to wild. I was doing my set and I didn't really, I was like, I didn't want to get too blue being like dirty, but obviously there's some elephants in the room, which is the fact that it's a pretty, sexual show. It's a show about, it's all Bachelor fans who watch a show about falling in love, and part of that is like, the fantasy suite of it all. So anyway, here's Katie, and then in the green room, look at that, Logan Palmer, Logan Siegel right there, my good buddy Logan. For those that don't know, Logan and I actually met long before his Bachelor days at this same venue. I guess he was there. I didn't remember how we met. I guess he was at the club to see a friend do stand-up, and then I had a set, and he liked my set, and I like it when people like my set. I was like, this is a nice young guy, and we became friends from that. We just stayed in touch. So when I saw that he was going to be on The Bachelor, I was like, no way. The general consensus from the audience, and I know this sounds kind of insulting, but everybody, and I mean everybody, said Logan is so much better looking in person. And that's and also very nice and this and that. So anyway, I think he's single out there, but I got some tea in the green room. Logan, I'm not going to spill it, but how about a hint? I got some tea about Logan has had some opportunities. I'm not saying he's reached out to them or that they've reached out to him, but there's been some top players in the Bachelor community that have slid in or have been slidden into. Is that a word? The point is this. It must be very tough for Bachelor alumni to date outside of the Bachelor world, because there is a sort of camaraderie amongst those who have been on the show that know what it's like and appreciate anonymity and all that you're not going to get from your average, dare I say, basic human, a civilian like myself. But either way, very good to see old pal Logan, and I appreciate him coming out to support the show. So here's Katie K. Katie K's the host. She's also a touring comedian, so go follow her if you like very funny comedy. Katie K Comedy. She was on America's Got Talent. She hosted the show, and unfortunately, I don't have any video yet up, but here's behind the scenes. So when you're on the stage, if you're watching this, there's actually a little catwalk right behind there. I'm going to show you, Katie posted from the catwalk, and this is the video that you can watch while you're waiting to go on stage. So it shows you what's going on. You can hear who's laughing, and then there's this neon sign that says, "Normal gets you nowhere." And I got to tell you, what I love most about this Mic Drop Comedy Club, as it's my first time there since they've renovated and new ownership, is they seem to be very comedy friendly. They are friendly, and that might sound weird to say, but a lot of comedy clubs really focus on the bottom line of how many drinks can they sell, what's their top, their comedy clubs are essentially restaurants, right? It's a place that people go to. It's dinner theater. The comic on stage keeps them laughing while they spend, overpriced money on chicken cacciatore or whatever they got. And a lot of places don't treat the comedians with the respect they deserve. But I have to say, my review as a comedian who just produced a show there with Katie, they were nothing but professional. The green room was amazing. This was in the green room. This is the behind the scenes area. They actually had multiple green rooms. They have a bar in there, tons of candy, food. They put out fresh veggies, all that. So they really took care of the comics. And by the way, here's Katie getting hit on in the women's bathroom, and not even mad about it. Check this out. She got hit on. Somebody gave her their business card. It said gynecologist, not certified but willing to take a look. Did you hear that, Tasha? Tasha's laughing in the bathroom. Can you believe that? If I had a business card that said gynecologist, not certified but willing to take a look, I think I'd get arrested. And yet Katie got this sent to her. So we'll have to find out if this, healthcare system in the U.S. is not good. So maybe this is better than nothing. Anyway, how funny that she got hit on in the women's. I'm assuming by a woman. We don't know. She was in the women's bathroom. And then others had posted, Katie Thurston was unreal, couldn't stop laughing. And then here's a meet and greet right after. All right, so, and look who we saw. So here's an Instagram story I made. Jess from Your Mom and Dad podcast, formerly of Chatty Broads, came out from Los Angeles. It's hard when you live in LA to get somebody to come out to Los Angeles when they also live in Los Angeles. She drove to San Diego. Let me tell you something. That requires probably a Nobel Peace Prize because that's incredible. She drove, I'm assuming, 2 to 3 hours in traffic, white knuckling it, as they call it. White knuckles matter. No, they don't. It's a joke. Get it? When you hold onto the steering wheel, you have white knuckles. The point is it's a treacherous drive, treacherous drive. And she made it not only out, but stayed for the whole show. And after the meet and greet, there were so many people there to see Katie and meet and greet. And I had a lot of people. I want to specifically shout out Kat, who came down from Oregon. And like I said before, Michelle, who came down with her boyfriend, I believe. There were people that came that I last saw at my last show in San Diego, and Nikki and her boyfriend came, our good friend Nikki over there. Not Greek Nikki. I don't know if she was Greek. She looks Greek. You look Greek. That's a good thing. He works at an Italian restaurant. I'm coming in for tiramisu, and so many others came out to support us. So I have to say, we did Katie K, did 10, 15 minutes. Austin did 10, 12. Katie did 12, and I did 30. And then we did probably a 20-plus minute Q&A. And I have to say, the audience was so engaged, so supportive. We had never done a Q&A before. Trust me, I did a Q&A with Hannah Brown for a private event last year, and it was not exciting. It was pleasant. It was fine, but it was not exciting. Katie's audience and the audience that came to last night's stand-up show were engaged. They asked great questions. Literally about 99% of them I can't repeat, and we completely regret. Yes, or there was so much tea spilled that I think it's a very good reward for those that came to the show to have a place, dare I say safe space, but a space where people can talk about things in flesh, in person, kind of the way life always existed before social media. We build all these online communities that exist regarding The Bachelor, but how often do you get a chance to meet in person? Now, me personally, I looked at this as a proof of concept that it could work as a tour. The idea that we go to clubs in Memphis, in Nashville, in El Paso, in Philly, in Portland, in Sacramento, in San Francisco, and the list goes on, Orlando. I think these crowds will show up in many other venues and actually continue to want to show up as they see how much fun the room was. But you guys be the judge. If you were at the show, leave a comment. Let me know if you had a good time. If you didn't, don't leave a comment. No, I'm kidding. But it was so nice to meet everybody in person and to see everyone support live comedy. And also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say to support Katie Thurston, who, look, I've done this for 11 years. I understand how tough it can be to tell jokes on stage. It's one thing to make a friend laugh at brunch. It's another to get up there, stand on your spot, and deliver. And Katie did just that. And I have to say, like I said, I can't reiterate it enough how hard it is. No one believes in people until they can prove it that they can do it. And a lot of people were questioning or saw her first set or this. She's only done it several dozen times. In Austin, who had done comedy a few years, and Katie K, who has done it for probably a decade with me. Katie K and I have almost a quarter century experience combined. That's a lot of time. And for Katie to come in with a couple dozen shows and deliver and have great crowd work when people were kind of not heckling, but throwing things in, it was great. So it's just I respect that. I respect the hustle. It's nerve-wracking. We were trying our best to keep the anxiety low beforehand because, unlike a lot of people who can tinker with creativity, imagine learning a new creative skill and really bearing yourself out there because you're doing that creative skill with a sort of vulnerability. You're telling jokes about your own sex life, your personal life, this and that. Imagine doing that, but having to get laughs and also do it in front of a sold-out crowd. She didn't have the luxury of tinkering around for 5 or 10 years in the stand-up circuit as an anonymous person. She's had to do it with her name on the marquee, and she delivered. So very much in support of that creative pursuit, because let me tell you something, it takes a lot of brass ovaries to want to do that. I would not recommend it to people out there. Don't get into stand-up unless you really want to explore some feelings, because you're gonna feel a certain way. Trust me, it's a journey, but it's one I'm sure she doesn't regret. All right, folks, well, that's gonna be it for me. I'll have a quick update on Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast, and I'll be back at the main studio tomorrow, assuming brunch goes well today. But follow me on Instagram at @dneals to see some more information about that. And again, one more time, from the bottom depths of my heart, thank you so much for coming out and for supporting my journey, live comedy, and Katie. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody.